Hello guys, you are welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to walk you through how you can perform your correlations. Yes, so for data sets like this, if you are wondering how I was able to code the variables you are seeing on my screen, I have a video on it. In YouTube you can go and then watch how I was able to perform all the coding, how I was able to convert all the data into structured formats, and how I was able to clean the data and everything. So you can watch those videos in YouTube. I have a video on it, you can watch it on YouTube. In this video I'm going to walk you through how you can perform correlations. So for an example, for a research topic like this, there is the effects of renewable energy on sustainable development, a case study of Ghana. For this simple research topic, we want to perform a correlation to see the connection between the predictor variable and the endogenous variable. So what we are going to do is to perform a simple correlation to check the link or the connection between the variable. But before we proceed with the SPSS and run the test, let's try to understand few things here. If we say correlation, what's the meaning of correlation? Correlation is simply, I would say correlation simply describes the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables. So to me, I see correlation and covariance as different, because as correlation describes the strength and direction of a relationship between two variables, covariance, on the other hand, determines the direction of association between two or more variables. So the key word here is strength and direction. That is for the correlation, whereas covariance is simply the direction of association between the variables, whether the variables are downward slope, it has downward slope which signifies positive correlation, or downward slope which signifies negative correlation, or upward slope which signifies positive correlation. That is for the covariance. But for correlation, we can have positive correlation, and then we can also have negative correlation, and then in the same way we can also have negative no correlations at all. So I have mentioned three types. We have positive correlation, negative correlation, and no correlation. So correlations are very simple and easily seen in correlational research or correlation research. So if I say correlation research, what does it also mean? Correlation research is also a type of non-experimental research method that focuses on identifying and assessing the link or the connection between two or more variables. Good. So I made mention of the types of correlation, which are positive, negative, and no correlation. Let me try to explain these three. If we say positive correlation simply indicates that when one variable increases, the other variable tends to increase. So they move in a positive direction. When one variable, assuming predictor variable, increases, the endogenous variable also increases in the same wavelength or in the same direction. So then as for negative correlation, it indicates that as one variable increases, the other tends to decrease. So that one has an inverse relationship or a negative relationship. As one increases, the other variable tends to decrease. If we say no correlation, it simply suggests no significant relationship or connection between the variables. Alright, so having explained what correlation is, correlational research or correlation research is, and types of correlations, what in SPSS, what we use to detect or what we use to test this correlation. This for us to be able to detect correlation between variables, in SPSS you can easily see three types, which are three tests, for example, which was being propounded by British statisticians. Yes, we have three types. That is the Pearson correlation, which was propounded by a British statistician called Carl Pearson, and then Kendall correlation, or people normally call it Kendall style. So Kendall correlation was also propounded by Maurice Kendall. He's also a British statistician. And then we also have Spearman correlation. For Spearman correlation, it was propounded by a British psychologist and a statistician, who is also known as Charles Spearman. So he propounded Spearman correlation. So in SPSS, what you can use to test or run correlation analysis or correlation test are three. So we have Pearson correlation, we have Kendall correlation, then we have Spearman correlation. So we will perform all these three types for us to be able to detect the correlation between this simple research that we are investigating. Alright, so let's begin with the Pearson correlation. For Pearson correlation, as I earlier on explained, that correlation tests determines the direction and the strength of association between variables, or shows three main strengths or three main types. So it will give you the strengths, it will also tell you the nature of the correlation, and it also give you the significance of the correlation. Yes, for Pearson correlation, it will let you know the strength of correlation between the variables, the nature of correlation between the variables, in the same way as the significance of the correlation between the variable, whether the correlation is significant or insignificant. The Pearson correlation will let you know that. So if we take the strengths, for instance, this correlation will further let you know whether the strength is moderate, whether the strength is weak, whether the strength is strong. In the same way, when it comes to the nature of correlation between them, it will also let you know whether the correlation is positive and negative, as I've earlier on explained to you what a positive correlation means and what a negative correlation means. And then when it comes to significance, it will also let you know what is the significance of correlation is significant or insignificant. So what the correlations or the values we use in assessing the correlation are simply: one, if you get a correlation value which is less than 0.3, then it means the correlation between the dependent and the independent variable is weak. Let me repeat again. If you get less than 0.3, if you run the test and you get less than 0.3, then it means that the connection or the link or the correlation between the exogenous variables and the endogenous variable is weak. However, if you get 0.3 to 0.7, then it means the correlation between the variables is moderate. Yes, if you run the test and you get you get values between 0.3 to 0.7, it means the correlation or the connection between the variable is moderate. Then if you get 0.7 to 1, then it means the connection between the predictor variables and then outcome variables is strong. Yes, so these are the values we use in detecting the correlations, the nature, the strengths, and then the significance of correlation between the variables. Let me go to the significance. For p values, we have a benchmark values of either 0.01 or 0.05, so you can choose between these options, but SPSS normally use 0.01. but for hypothesis testing, it's not mandatory to always stick to 0.01. you can choose between 0.01 and 0.05. So if you run the test and you get p-value which is less than 0.05, then it means the correlation is significant. But if you run the test and you get p-value which is greater than 0.05 or 0.01, then it means the correlation between the dependent and independent variable is insignificant. Alright, so in my next video, we are going to run the data sets. We are going to run the test using this data set to use all these values to determine the correlation between this research that we are conducting, to determine the connection between the endogenous variable and the exogenous variable. Thank you for watching my video. If you like videos, you can like or you can subscribe so that each time I post a new video, you can be notified. Thank you.